So the Faces of the Franchise is a new series of cards that they added into the game this year, and right now they're probably some of the best cards in the game. You get them through the Team Affinity programs, and you have to unlock them at 50 program stars for each individual team, and 50 stars is a lot to get for each individual team, so you're going to have to pick which ones you want and which ones you don't want, and go after the ones you do and leave the ones be that you don't want. So today I'm hopefully going to be making that process a little bit easier for you to choose which Team Affinity programs you want to go after and which face of the franchise you want on your team, because I am going to rank all 30 of the Faces of the Franchise cards from worst to best. Now, I feel like I should mention this is completely my opinion. It's not like definitive in the game. They say that this card is better than this card. No, this is all just my opinion, going through the cards and ranking them based on what I think. So starting from the bottom at number 30, I'm going to go with Matthew Boyd. He's a left-handed pitcher from the Detroit Tigers. And real quick, I feel like I should mention, I don't really think any of these cards are bad. I just think some of them are, obviously worse than others. All of these cards are really good, and like I mentioned earlier, they're some of the best cards in the game. But that being said, I do believe that Matthew Boyd is the worst one here. He does have a pretty solid pitch selection. It's just that his control is a little bit low, and his velocity is a little bit low, and his break isn't like insane. So again, it's not that he's a bad card, it's just not that he's really anything too special. Then at number 29, I have to do it. I gotta go with this Buster Posey card. Again, not a bad card, it's just he doesn't have the best hitting numbers. His fielding is like solid. His arm strength isn't like crazy for a catcher. 80 is good, but it's not like elite sniper deadeye thing that's gonna throw out everybody. And then at number 28, I'm going with Yadier Molina, and I went to him so quickly because the only reason I put him over Buster Posey is literally just because Buster Posey has a 99 overall card that you can grind to for free once you hit level 100. But between those two cards, honestly, this Buster Posey, or this Yadier Molina and that Buster Posey, both Faces of the Franchise, they're really similar. Posey is a slightly better fielder, but Molina is a slightly better hitter. So, you're basically just trading off which one you like better. They're both really similar for me. Then at 27, I hate to do it, but it has to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. His hitting numbers just aren't off the charts. They're just kind of there, and there's nothing like too special, and his fielding is subpar. Only 62 over there at third base. He does have a good arm. His speed is low. His reaction's low over there at third, so he's not going to be the strongest defender, and he really just doesn't make up for it with the bat. And next up, for pretty much the same reasons, I got to go with Conforto at number 26, the Mets Face of the Franchise here. He's a little bit better of a hitter than that Vlad is, but also he's a right fielder, and 69 fielding in right really isn't that good, especially when you only have a 74 arm, 56 speed. He's not going to be the strongest defender, and again, I just don't think his bat will make up for it. He is really good against righties, so he could be a really good bench bat if you put him on the team, but I don't see him being a really good elite right fielder. Then at 25, another third baseman here, Brian Anderson. And really, when you compare his hitting to Vlad's, his hitting isn't that much worse. It's pretty comparable, but his fielding is just so much better that I have to put him above Vlad. Not by too many spots, obviously, and I really don't think this is that great of a Face of the Franchise card. Like I said, still a good card, but just not one of the elite third basemen in this game. Really good in the field, though. And another thing worth mentioning is this could be also a good outfielder, because you could put him out there in left and right. He'll still have the gold fielding badge with 94 arm strength, so possibly this Brian Anderson could be a better card if you put him in left or right rather than third base. Then another one that I just kind of hate to do, but it's Joey Votto coming in at number 24. His hitting is just kind of there. I mean, it's nothing too special again. He's got a good glove. Arm doesn't really matter over there at first. But he's just kind of a solid card. Like, if you get him, that's good. But I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that I grind this program for this card right away. Then at number 23, we got Trey Mancini out there in right field. This card's got good hitting numbers across the board. You'd think he'd sacrifice a lot in the field, but he really doesn't. 74 fielding is fine. Like, he's not going to get to everything His reaction's fine. His speed is kind of low. The one thing that he does lack in the field, though, is arm strength. In right field, 48 arm is just not going to get the job done. Another positive is you can stick him at first base. You can hide him over there if you don't want to play him in the outfield. Somebody that you can't hide at first base, though, is number 22, Charlie Blackmon. You can see his hitting numbers are really good. This is a really good hitter. But in right field with those fielding numbers, that's going to be rough. Like, he's only got 61 fielding, so it's barely a bronze fielder. If you put him at a secondaries, he's going to be a common fielder. His arm just is not there. His reaction's not there. His speed's not there. So he's going to be a major liability in the outfield, but hopefully he can make up for it with his bat. Then in at number 21 is Aaron Nola. I have to admit, I had kind of some trouble putting the starting pitchers into this ranking just because it's kind of difficult to compare a starter's numbers to a bunch of positional players' numbers. But I put Aaron Nola at 21 just because, like, there's 4 starting pitchers on this within this series of card, and I don't think Aaron Nola is like all that special. Again, I think his pitch selection is kind of lacking. I mean, only 4 pitches. It's not always the worst, but it's always nice to have that 5th pitch. He does have pretty good break, though, with solid velocity, solid per nines, solid control. I mean, it's just a solid pitcher across the board. There's not really much else to say. Then at number 20, we're going with the Brewers' face of the franchise, Lorenzo Cain. Another just kind of solid card. He's going to be a good contact hitter. He has enough power to hit the gaps and maybe hit a few home runs. Obviously, his fielding is really good with the 93 reaction, so he's going to get a good jump on the ball. He'll have good enough speed to run it down, but the arm just brings him down. And I don't know, me personally, I haven't been too great with Lorenzo Cain cards. So, I don't know, this card, he could have been ranked higher. You could have made an argument for it, but this is just where I put him. Then at number 19, we're going with the second baseman, Whit Merrifield. And if you look at it, this is such a similar card to that Lorenzo Cain. It almost has like identical numbers across the board. It's really weird. The only thing that does differ is his fielding and reaction are a little bit lower, but his speed is a little bit higher. You can put him in the outfield, so he's going to be a solid defender in the outfield. His fielding will dip to a silver. Then at 18, we're going to go with David Peralta out there in left field for the Arizona Diamondbacks. A good lefty bat. He's going to crush righties with that 102 contact and 80 power, but he's not really sacrificing much against lefties. He still has pretty good numbers there. And he's actually really good in the field, too, with 86 fielding and 86 reaction. He's one of the better fielding left fielders probably on this list. His arm isn't really going to get the job done, but you don't really need the strongest arm in left, even though 58 is a little bit weaker than I'd like. Then at number 17 is Kyle Seager. Seager's kind of an interesting card because he's a lefty, but he actually hits lefties better, which is kind of good and bad, because if you're someone that struggles hitting lefty-lefty, his numbers boost is going to help you with that, but you still, I feel like, would rather be stronger against righties, because now when you face righties, you're going to be a little bit worse too. The only reason that he's this high in the list, though, is because I know how Kyle Seager plays in MLB The Show, and this dude matches the ball. So that's the only reason why he's this high in the list. Attributes alone, he probably would be a little bit lower in the ranking, but like I said, I just know how he plays. Then at 16, we're going to go with Rafael Devers from the Boston Red Sox. Another third baseman here, another solid player. He's a pretty good hitter, especially against righties. His power dips a little bit versus lefties, but it's still there. And you're really not giving up much with the fielding. I mean, overall, it's just a solid card across the board. He really doesn't have much he excels at, but he also doesn't really give up too much. Even the speed is right in the middle. Then at 15, we're going to go with Josh Bell from the Pirates. A really good hitter, and he's a switch hitter, so that makes him even better. He's going to crush righties, and he's still going to crush lefties even with that lower contact. He still has 85 power. He does give up a lot in the field, only 61 fielding over there at first. You definitely don't want to put him in right field. And in the past, fielding at first base hasn't really mattered, but I know the developers have said that it's going to matter a little bit more this year at first base. So that's why he's a little bit lower on this list than maybe you would have expected. But right above him is another switch-hitting first baseman, Carlos Santana. And honestly, the only reason that I rank Santana over Bell is just because Santana can play catcher. He's not going to be playing catcher well, but it is a place that you can put him if you get this card and you don't know where to put somebody. But between him and Bell, hitting-wise, they're such a similar card. I mean, both big power hitting, switch hitting first baseman. So yeah, honestly, between Bell and Santana, you really can't go wrong either way. They're such similar cards. Then at number 13, I really wanted to rank this card higher because for some reason I just like it, but I can't really justify putting him up higher than some other people with how low his hitting is. But Byron Buxton is going to get to everything in center field. He has 99 speed with 95 reaction and 94 fielding. You can expect this guy to run down any ball that you put in the gap if you're facing him. And then that 97 arm is going to prevent any extra bases being taken or anybody trying to round third and score a run on a single up the middle. But like I mentioned, he's going to give up a lot at the plate. He does not hit the ball very well. Next at number 12, he's one of the lower overall guys, but I ranked him so high. It's Yoan Moncada. And I swear it's not because I'm biased, but this is a really good switch hitting card over there at third base. His numbers are really comparable to that Rafael Devers. He's going to crush righties. He's going to have a little bit more of a tougher time against lefties, but he's still got really good numbers. The only reason that he's really above Devers is because he does have that switching hitting ability. So when he's facing a lefty, he's going to be hitting from the right side of the plate. He's also slightly better in the field overall with a better arm, and he's got more speed. Then at number 11, he's actually tied for the highest overall. 89 is the highest overall card that a face of the franchise can be. But Anthony Rizzo at first base, there's just nothing special about him. Like, he's a good hitter, don't get me wrong. 90-82 against righties is good. The lefties, he doesn't give up much with 91 vision. That's gonna be a force at the plate. And he's a really good fielder, so like you're really not gonna have any issues there. I just feel like for me, in a first baseman, I want somebody who's gonna like absolutely destroy the ball, like someone with crazy hitting stats. And now we're into the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Gleyber Torres. And I'll just spoil it, he's the worst shortstop on the list. So shortstops are insane in these Face of the Franchise series. Really good hitter. Look at those numbers. With the 93-96 power from a shortstop, that's huge. His fielding really isn't all that weak either. 72 fielding at short. He might have some issues, but his arm is pretty strong to make some throws from the hole. And then coming in at number 9, this is more the type of first baseman I was talking about wanting when I was talking about Rizzo. This dude is going to mash the ball, especially against righties, but he's still got 90 power against lefties. His vision is a little lacking. His contact versus lefties is a little lacking, so if you face a lefty, that PCI might be a little small. But look at his fielding too over there at first base. 95 fielding with 94 reaction. You're not going to be able to sneak a ball down the line against Matt Olson. And his fielding is even strong enough that you could put him at a secondary position in right field, and he's going to retain that diamond fielding badge. Then at number 8, the next shortstop on this list is Fernando Tatis from the Padres. I will say he's a little bit weaker of a bat than Torres is, especially with that really low vision. 47 vision is going to give you some trouble when you're up on a higher difficulty. But what he gives up to Torres at the plate, he more than makes up for in the field and on the base pass. Look at that fielding, 83 fielding, that's going to be a gold out there at short, but the 95 arm is what gets me. He is going to be throwing people out from deep in the hole, just left and right. And then 89 speed, he's going to be a terror on the bases. He's going to be taking extra bases that other people won't be able to. And he's also going to be able to run down some ground balls up the middle or in the hole. Then at number 7, we're going to go with Ozzie Albies. Honestly, when I was originally looking at this cards, I wasn't quite sure that I was going to put Albies this high. But after looking at it, like this is a really good second baseman. Like when you talk about what you want in a second baseman, this is almost exactly what it is. This dude is absolutely insane against lefties. 114 contact with 83 power. And righties, because of how good he is against lefties, it makes his numbers versus righties look worse. But 71 contact with 62 power is not bad at all. Like, that's solid. And then in the field, he's got 87 fielding with 83 reaction and 73 speed. So he's going to be able to run down those balls, hit up the middle. The only thing he's lacking is his arm, but as a second baseman, you don't really need a strong arm. Then at number 6 is going to be Carlos Correa from the Astros. And cheating aside, because you're not going to be hearing any trash can bangs in this game, this is a really solid card. And it was tough between him and Tatis to rank, but I do think Correa is a little bit better at the plate than Tatis is, mostly just because his vision's a little higher. His fielding is pretty much identical to Tatis's fielding. He's got a little bit weaker of a glove, but a little bit stronger of an arm. But yeah, this Correa is going to be a force at the plate, and he's going to be really good out there defensively too. Then at number 5, it's another starting pitcher, Blake Snell. He's got a pretty run-of-the-mill pitch selection, so nothing too special there. But his per 9s are really good. Look at that, 100 strikeouts per 9. He's going to have really good break with solid velocity. This is going to be a really good lefty out there on the mound. Then at number 4, trust me, I did not think that this guy was going to be up as high on the list as he is. But as I was comparing everybody head-to-head, he kept winning in my head. I was like, oh, Turner's better than this guy. Oh, no way, I think Turner's better than this guy. But look at him. He's insane as a hitter. He's a righty bat who's going to destroy lefties, and he's still going to hit righties really good. I personally don't value the fielding at third base as much, which is probably why I put him this high on the list. But the developers always say that 65 fielding is league average. So, like, he's just an average fielder. You know, he's not going to be like Matt Chapman over there, stopping everything from going down the line, making crazy diving plays. But his fielding is going to be enough to get the job done. And any mistakes he makes in the field, he's more than going to make up for with the bat. Look at his hitting again. It's so good. Then at number 3, it's going to be Juan Soto. And with all that I said about Turner, I feel like the gap between these top 3 and then like 4 and the rest is huge. And if you look at it, it's not really that Soto is worse than Turner. Like, his hitting is pretty much the same, just from the other side of the plate. And it's not like he's a special defender either, but 70 fielding out there in the left with 71 arm is going to get the job done. He'll have the silver badge. 63 speed is going to be fine. But man, I just know how Juan Soto plays in this game. He has such a nice swing, and he just seems to destroy the ball. So that's why I got to give Juan Soto the number 3 on this list. And then I know that I just said that the top 3 are better than everybody else. Like, there's a big gap. But the gap between the top 2 and Juan Soto, I think, is even bigger. I think Shohei Otani, and then you already know who the last one is. I think these two guys are by far the best 2 faces of the franchise. Now, you look at Shohei Otani, he's got really good per 9s there. He's got really good hits and Ks per 9. He's going to lack control a little bit, but he's got 95 velocity with 99 break. His pitches are going to come in fast, and they're going to be moving all over the place. But then here's the biggest part. I'm about to hit square. And look at that. Look, he can hit. We all know Otani can hit, but look at that versus righties. 86 contact, 87 power, and even versus lefties, it's not horrible. But if you have Otani starting in your game, you basically have a DH, because all 9 of your hitters are going to be able to produce. And the big thing about this game is you can pinch hit with starting pitchers, which I think in years past you could pinch hit with a pitcher, but I think it was only relievers you could put in. So if you have Otani on your roster and he's not pitching that day, you could bring him into pinch hit. He's going to be one of your best lefty bats coming off the bench. And then at number 1, I think the definitive best face of the franchise on this game is none other than Joey Gallo. If you've played MLB The Show any of the last 2 years, you know how insanely good Joey Gallo is at this game for whatever reason. Like, if you look at his contact and his vision, you're going to be like, oh, it's impossible to put the bat on the ball with him. But no, that couldn't be any further from the truth. This dude, he just destroys the ball. Look at the power. Even if you don't get the best bat on the ball is still going to sail because he has 112, 114 power. But then the crazy thing about this card is, as good as he is at the plate, look at his fielding. 86 fielding in right field is going to be enough that if you put him at any of his 4 secondary positions, he's still going to have the gold fielding badge. He has a 99 arm, so nobody's going to be running on him. And even his speed at 64 is pretty good. Like, 64 speed is not slow at all. So there you have it. Joey Gallo is taking my top spot on this list. And that was my ranking for every single face of the franchise in this game. If you have any of these guys already, let me know how they play, because I actually haven't gotten to use them yet. Let me know what you think about my rankings too. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more MLB The Show 20 videos, there's going to be a lot of them. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.